Hello. I'm going to speak today about a woman called Julian of Norwich. She is known by many Christians as a result of events that occurred 650 years ago this month. She was a 14th century theologian, mystic, and writer. Julian lived in tumultuous times. Her life coincided with the deadliest pandemic in human history, to which medieval Norwich was no exception. This was a city in dire need of prayer, and Julian did just that. As an anchorite, she dedicated herself to God through a life of solitude and seclusion. Kind of. From her cell at St. Julian's Church, she functioned as a sort of agony aunt to the people of Norwich, offering advice and prayers. To be honest, we know very little about Julian. Did she have children? Did she ever become an anchorite? What did her cell look like? Who taught her to read and write? Was Julian even her name? These questions and many more remain a mystery. What we do know is that around the time that Julian turned 30, she became seriously ill. As she lay on her literal deathbed, she gazed at a crucifix. Suddenly, she saw the figure of Jesus bleeding in front of her, followed by a series of 16 visions. 5 days later, Julian recovered from her illness. Shortly afterwards, she wrote about her visions. She then spent years and then decades reflecting on their meaning and their theological significance. Eventually, nearing the end of her long life, Julian produced a manuscript that came to be known as Revelations of Divine Love. Her book about these visions was the first to be written in English by a woman. There is one quotation from Julian that many people have heard. It's this: "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." These were not the words of a naive optimist, but a woman full of hope, because she knew the depth of love and providence of God. However bad things were in the world or in someone's personal life, Julian was confident that God's love would prevail. This is all the more remarkable as she witnessed to this deep trust in God during the time of the Great Plague, when huge numbers were dying all around her. She is a woman whose message continues to encourage. Julian developed wonderful imagery of God as mother, leading to much discussion 6 centuries later about whether or not we can claim her as a feminist. This was a woman who was not afraid to look suffering in the face, to stay with it, to grapple with it, and to ask difficult questions. But I'll end with these words from 14th century Julian. "He showed me a little thing, the size of a hazelnut, in the palm of my hand, and it was as round as a ball. I looked upon it and thought, what can this be? And the answer came to me from God: this is all that is made. I marvelled at how it might last, for it was so small, I thought it might suddenly have crumbled into nothing. And the answer came to me: it lasts and ever shall be, because God loves it. And so all things have their being through the love of God." Bless you all.